Hello, everybody. Hello, my friends and film fans, wherever you may be and however you may be watching. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. I haven't done a fireside chat in a while, and I'm kind of doing one now, and I'm kind of not doing one at the same time as I turn down the volume of my iPad. It is still kind of cold where I live. It is. Let's see. As I look at it right now, it is 35 degrees. It feels like 25. It's not exactly cold, but there's still a lot of snow and ice and shit on the ground all around my house. And going outside and setting a fire was not an option tonight, unfortunately. But we do have this lovely fire, as you can see right here, one that I pulled off of YouTube, that will be in the background as we sit here and chat about some things tonight. What are we going to chat about? Well, lots of things. We're going to go on Tiermaker, and I'm gonna do some tier making for you guys as soon as I finish bringing it up. But there's a lot going on about the Dodgers. I want to talk about the Dodgers. I mean, I'm a baseball fan. Everybody knows I'm a baseball fan. But there's a lot that goes the whole thing of the Dodgers and the money. It's all so. Some of it is very easy to talk about. Some of it is not so easy to talk about. And I will give you my thoughts on all of that. Yes, I am a Dodger hater. Yes, I am a San Francisco Giants fan. That's the truth. But yeah, I'm gonna give you some of my thoughts tonight. A couple of people. We got 4 people on YouTube. Looks like 2 people on Twitter, and I'm not even really watching Rumble right now. So we've got whatever going on Rumble. Let's see. I got to pull Rumble up. I wasn't even all the way on Rumble yet. Let's see. What am I doing on Rumble right now? Boy, I am not on the ball on Rumble, am I? Let's go watch this on Rumble and see what's going on over there. And we've got, however many people on Rumble. I don't even know right now. 1 person on Rumble, and it's probably me. But that's okay. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to dick around a little bit. We're going to have some fun. There's Alex from Alex and Garbage Man. He says that I'm a baseball fan. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. The world's never seen a baseball fan like me. You sound like Donald Trump. I'm a baseball fan. I'm the biggest baseball fan. I'm a baseball fan. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. I can't do a good Trump. I've always tried, but I can't do a good Trump. But yeah, we're here to talk about plenty of things. But let's bring up. Let's start by doing a couple of tier making things, and I have to bring the screen up for just a second. Turn the sound off of there, and there is the tier making list. I don't know which ones I want to do. I don't have to do anything in particular. I want to try doing some movie stuff, but some of the movie ones are just dumb. I mean, I've looked at them and I'm like, meh. I mean, I'll start with. I guess I can start with this one. I could rank the Star Wars films. 6, 7, 8, 9. This is just the. I guess this is the episodic films and the spin-off films. It's got Solo and Rogue One in there, so I guess I'll do those. We can start with those. Yeah, that seems like a pretty good place to do things. You guys go down in the chat. Let me know what you guys think as I'm doing this. I'm not here to. It says it down there. I'm here to piss everybody off. I'm going to probably put some things up here that you're not going to agree with. And that's fine by me. But I feel like we should start with let's start with the OG. Let's start with A New Hope, episode 3. Honestly, I mean, while I don't think that all 3 of the original trilogy films are the same, they're not all as good. I do still think that all 3 of them are when you break up the individual trilogies, the prequel trilogy, the original trilogy, and the newer trilogy, I do believe that by far all 3 of them together are the superior films. So, and yes, you could point out some plot holes. You could pick some shit apart in this movie, especially the original versions before Lucas came in and redid all the shit. But it is still the gold standard for most science fiction. So I'm putting it there. I feel like it belongs there. Now, going to, let's see, where is Empire Strikes Back? I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, most people think that that's probably the best Star Wars movie ever made. They're probably right. It's got the best ending of all the movies. It's got the characters are all fantastic. The writing was fantastic. The music was nothing short of amazing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that film at all. Now, let's go to Return of the Jedi. I'm going to put it like a shade below the other 2. Not a whole lot, just a shade. It's not that it's a bad movie necessarily. It was a good ending. The Ewoks, while I enjoyed the Ewoks when I was young, and too stupid to know what a good movie was. But as I watched them as I get older, the Ewoks was a bit too much for the kid stuff. I mean, they wanted to sell toys. That's where movies kind of invade the where marketing invades the creative and kind of does not what you want it to do. So I'm going to put Return of the Jedi, even though for the longest time it was my favorite Star Wars film, I'm putting it down just a shade below the other two original trilogies. Now let's go episode 1. Where's episode 1? There it is. I mean, I'm kind of going to put all these right in the middle. That's about as good as I can do. Look, great cast, obviously. I can't knock the cast. It was a solid beginning, but I think the whole sequel trilogy kind of flamed out as it went along, especially as you got into episode 2. Like that love story that happened but didn't happen at all. It just kind of magically appeared right in the middle of the movie between Padme and Anakin. I didn't like that. But, I mean, I'll give episode 1 a lot of credit because the fight scenes are really cool. Look, one thing that Star Wars has always done very, very well is the lightsaber battles. Like, even the lightsaber battles from the not-so-great movie, I mean, they're lightsaber battles. When you're battling with a lightsaber, you are impressing me. It's really, really hard for me to not like a good lightsaber battle. Yeah, going to episode 2, I mean... I'm putting it at the bottom. I can't do much better than that. Like I said, the acting was rigid. Again, I don't necessarily blame the actors for it. I know a lot of it was George Lucas's direction. He was probably not quite himself for most of this movie. He wasn't directing very well, let's just say. But like I said, the movie was just kind of a mess. It's like 1 minute Padme is pushing Anakin away, and then like literally 30 seconds of film later, she's like frolicking in the meadows with him, and they're madly in love. And there's no explanation. There was no relationship growth between the two. It just happened. It's very jarring, and it did not help a movie that already had a lot of problems. So I'm just going to put it down there at the bottom. Moving on now to Revenge of the Sith. I could put it up here. I mean, look, the entire third act was really good. Once Obi-Wan and Anakin start to go at it, he actually turns into Vader at the end. You get a lot of the visuals that would lead us into episode 3, into A New Hope. Luke and Leia being born, knowing how that's always all going to play out already. The third act was really good. The rest of the movie, meh. It kind of puttered along. Again, it was kind of a lot of episode 2. It was Anakin being a emotional little child. And that kind of got tired during episode 2. Jeremy might have different thoughts on it. And, I welcome Jeremy to offer those thoughts either in the chat or wherever. It's Casey in the chat saying, we from Saturday is Raw are watching you. Good. Everybody's got to be. The Rose told me to steal some clout and view you too. Well, and then Rose says, ignore that asshole. I didn't say anything. Yeah, well, whatever. As long as you guys are watching, I'm happy. I really should. I only got 12 different ways to watch in here. I guess I could go onto my phone real quick and put you guys on as well. I tried not to do too much YouTube in the weekends. I try to keep that kind of a mellow night where I hang out with Jennifer or whatever, but she's busy watching whatever the hell it is she's watching right now. Some Japanese whatever shit. Where is your guys' stuff even? I know for a fact I'm subscribed to the Rose. If you guys are live right now and I'm not seeing you, it's a bummer. The Rose Gaming. The Rose Gaming, there it is. It's coming up everybody but the Rose Gaming. That's very, very odd. I will find that right now. Search filters, we'll go to channels. I know for a fact I'm subscribed. I don't know why. Okay, I'm going to figure that out here in a minute. Oh, Jake DeMarco. Oh, Jake's live. Cool. Glad Jake's doing well. I've noticed he's been going live more lately. That's pretty cool. But I have no idea why I'm not finding it right now. Oh, well, I'll get to that shit in a second. But, he's on your channel. Oh, well, hey. Oh, ooh, it's on my channel, dipshit. Oh, did I mean dipshit? Yes, you did mean dipshit. You know why? Because you're a dipshit. You're killing me. Is Casey even live right now? Nemo's Dreamscape, Smoking Scan is live. Ken's live. I'd rather watch Ken. Ken's at least got a IQ higher than his shoe size, Casey, you dimwit. Let's see. Cronin's live right now. I don't even see where the hell Casey is on here. I know I subscribed to him, but oh, there you are. Oh, yeah. You are a dipshit. Can you hear? I can hear him talking. But let's see. Tour Capture says, Frank, don't mind the two idiots in your chat. Casey and the Rose are being talking shit, dumb shit in wrestling. Yeah, that's what they do. They can't talk about anything smart. But let's see. Back to the rankings. We'll go. Let's do the first spin-off film. I'll go with the first spin-off film we're going to talk about. Let's go Solo. I can't really rate it any higher than B. I mean, I ended up liking the movie for what it was. It's just kind of like a spin-off story with Han Solo doing Han Solo things. The movie didn't really do anything to add to the overall franchise. Yeah, we got to see how Han and Chewie met, but we got to see the Kessel Run that he did in 12 parsecs. That's great little Easter egg stuff, but as a whole, it didn't add anything to the overall franchise. I'm just not. When I heard it was coming out, I was kind of like, okay, why? I don't really understand why, but it ended up coming out, and for all the problems that it had during production, it ended up not being a bad movie. It wasn't a good enough movie to where I thought to myself, hey, I really need to see this movie all the time. I saw the movie once in theaters, and I think I watched it once it hit Disney Plus, the first at Disney Plus, and that was it. That's the only time I've ever watched that movie. Not that it's bad, it just doesn't really do anything for me. You know what I mean? But moving on now to the new trilogy, we're going Force Awakens, which I believe is this one because I can't see with this small ass print. Force Awakens is fantastic. I think it was a great start for the new trilogy. Yes, it is kind of a little bit of a remake of Episode 3 of A New Hope, but A New Hope is well loved. It's a great film that kicked off maybe the greatest franchise in the history of all film. So I don't know why you would knock that, why you would say it's some kind of a bad idea. Let me zoom these in a little bit. There we go. So yeah, so that's why I've got the Force Awakens there. Boy, that zoomed in like a whole lot. Let's back that off a little bit. But yeah, I don't understand why people hate that movie the way they do. I don't get the vitriol for it. I mean, look, does it kind of gender swap things? Now the hero's a woman? Yeah, but you've already had a strong woman. You had Leia throughout the entire first 3 movies, and she could while not a Jedi, you guys know the truth. While not a Jedi, she is still someone who can hold her own. She's a very strong, capable female. So why not go ahead and make the central character of this new franchise a female? I don't understand the hatred. Rey is a great character. I do hope that they end up making another episodic film about her. I think that'd be a lot of fun, and I look forward to it. But they kind of ruined it with the rest of this other crap. I mean, dude, these movies just, I'll give this one a C. The Last Jedi. That's the best I can do. My biggest problem with the newer trilogy is that they did not have a pre-established plan going into this new 3 movies. They were just like, we're going to hire J.J. Abrams. He's going to do this first one. Great. He comes out with the first one. It does what it does, good or bad. And then after that, it seemed like Kathleen Kennedy, of all people, who's supposed to be pretty damn smart, was just kind of like twiddling her thumbs like, what's next? Let's just go hire somebody to make another movie, when the reality is they should have had this thing planned out exactly the way that Marvel had stuff planned out when they shot the first scenes in the first Iron Man movie. I mean, they had everything planned out all the way up to the Avengers. Whether it was going to go past that or not, nobody knew. But they said, we are doing this all the way up to the Avengers, so we have this plan right here that we're going to stick to. And for some reason, they made Force Awakens, and they were like, we don't know what we're going to do after that. Oh, yeah, we'll just go ahead and we'll hire somebody to come and do the next one. They can do whatever they want with it. No, they needed to be a plan. It needed to be somebody like J.J. Abrams to say, maybe I won't direct the next 2 films, but I am the producer. I am responsible for the story. I'm planning all this out. This is how we're going to do it. So instead, what we got is mass confusion when it comes to Rey's background. Just mass confusion. When it happens in the second movie, you find out that her parents are nobody. I was kind of like, I get that. I like the idea that Rey was of the Force, the way that Anakin himself, if you remember back to the prequels, was of the Force. His mom even talks about him being kind of an immaculate conception, is that she became pregnant, she had him, and that was it. There is no father, there was no nothing. He was an immaculate conception. So and in the end, he kind of was the chosen one, because he's the one that essentially brought down the Sith. Well, yeah, I mean, as it would go. I mean, you'd find out what you find out in the newer trilogy, but whatever. He is essentially the one that brings down the Sith. So, I mean, why then go into the third movie and then completely flip that around? Oh, now she's the granddaughter of Palpatine. I mean, come on. I mean, just bad. And I mean, I'll go ahead and do this one now. I mean, sorry, Rise of Skywalker just wasn't good. I mean, it had. I've always kind of considered it kind of 2 movies. Like J.J. Abrams does come back to direct this film, which is good, but it's kind of 2 different halves. He spends the first half of the movie apologizing for the last movie and trying to retcon just enough without looking kind of ridiculous, and kind of arranging everything to where he wanted it to be for the second half, where he has the big payoff. Second half of the movie was a lot better, but still not great. I mean, there was only so much you could do with the ending because of the bullshit that you did in The Last Jedi. It's just, I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll go back and rewatch this newer trilogy, and maybe if I can sit on a Saturday, just watch all 3 of them, maybe kind of watching them all kind of in one big mosaic, I'll be able to see things differently. But I've seen all these movies multiple times, especially Force Awakens. I went and saw that 7 times in theaters, and I've watched I don't know how many times since it came out in streaming, Disney Plus, whatever. It's a fantastic movie, but I mean, just the rest of these, I don't know. I just don't know. Rogue One is the last one, dude. That's solid. That's a solid movie. Again, it was one of those movies that I didn't really care. I was just like, okay, big deal. They're making another side movie because, Solo worked out so well, and okay, it's the happenings that led up to Episode 3 and the immediacy of it, how they got the plans to the Death Star. Okay, but it was much grittier. It was. I mean, it is the movie that gave us Andor, the TV show, which is a very gritty, dark side of the rebellion. Because every rebellion, let's face it, it's one of the scenes I liked about the Last Jedi was when they're talking to the arms dealer and they're going through all the stuff and they find the X-wings and all the stuff that they use, and they kind of come to this realization he's selling arms to both sides. He's like, look, all you guys are just the different sides of the same coin. You're all into war. You all want to fight. You all want to have the advantage over the other guy. Don't act like I'm doing them a favor by selling them, TIE fighters. I'm doing the same thing for you by selling you X-wing fighters and guns and so on and so on and so on. So I actually thought that was a very poignant scene, one that was amazing. Let's go check out the chat real quick. Let's see. Alex is, call him a dipshit, Casey. Yep. He's a dipshit. I'm going to incorporate that into a new Thurman intro. Oh, yeah, there we go. And of course, look, if you want to go in there and mess with Casey, there's his link. I mean, pop into StreamYard and go mess with him all you want. Go have fun with Casey. Since he gave his link out to the public, everybody go in there and screw with him. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I wrong? I mean, is this not a good tier? Let me see if I can shrink my my camera down a little bit so you guys can maybe see a little bit better. Maybe I'll just put myself over here for right now. I mean, I can't really say that it's any different than that. That seems like a fair pairing to me. It seems like a fair place to put all these. I give a little bit more love than I thought I could for Episode 1. Episode 3 was good. Episode 2 was not. It was just clumsy, and the other ones were a mess. But yeah, so there's some of those. Now let's go back and let's go to categories. See what else we can make a ranking of. Let's see. Some of this shit I don't know about. Animals, dumb. Actors and actresses, that's kind of hard. Books, I haven't read enough books to give a shit. Brawl Stars, there's some of the dumbest shit that they want me to rank. Or Canada, Canada sucks. Nothing good comes from Canada, right? Right? Nothing good comes from Canada, right? Anyway, fuck with my friends from the Great White North. Let's see, dinosaurs. Well, hey, maybe I'll get Brooding Gamer around here one of these days. We can rank some dinosaurs. Fantasy football. I don't know what you would rank about fantasy football, but okay. Trying to find some more. I don't know what kind of Harry Potter stuff can we rank. Harry Potter characters, Hogwarts professors, Harry Potter movies. Let's do the Harry Potter movies. Why not? I mean, look, I'm not going to lie to you. They're all going to rank pretty high with me. Well, except for these two right here. They weren't fantastic. But let's start from the very beginning. Let's start with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone / the Philosopher's Stone. Loved it. I thought it was really good. Actually, I may just go with my top ones first. I got to be honest, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to Fantastic Beasts and Grindelwald and all that stuff. I'm just going to put those right here. I don't even think I saw the second one. I never got around to it, and they ended up not making a third one or something like that because of all the stuff. Johnny Depp being all his stuff, whatever. I'm not even going to try ranking those. But I'll go my top tier ones. Let's see. Goblet of Fire. That's my other one. I put these two at the very top. Number one, because it's really hard to make a kids movie that speaks to everybody. And I thought the first Harry Potter film did that very, very well. The reason why I put the Goblet of Fire up there, and I think that's what that is the Goblet of Fire. I can't quite tell. The reason that I put Goblet of Fire up there is because that's where the entire tone of the entire series turns. It goes, because the first 2 or 3 movies were kids movies for the most part. As soon as Cedric Diggory dies, the entire tone of the franchise changes to something way more adult and way more grown up. And one of the things that I've always liked about the Harry Potter films is that they matured with the audience, I like to say. So it's like the first couple of movies are kind of kids movies. Then it gets a little darker. You start to include some like relationship things, you know, the angst that teenagers feel amongst each other when it comes to getting the date for the dance, stuff like that, all the way up to facing life-threatening situations by the time the franchise is over. I thought the whole movie did that. The whole franchise did that very, very well. Let's see. This is a Chamber of Secrets. I thought Chamber of Secrets was pretty good. I'll put it in the B area. Let's see. Prisoner of Azkaban. I would say that Prisoner of Azkaban is kind of the it's kind of the Empire Strikes Back of the franchise. It does leave on kind of a spot where you don't quite know how things are going to turn out. Like the movie's over and the good guys are in the they win, but they're still kind of in the lurch. They're not in a very good spot. You know what I mean? That's one of the things I've always liked about the way that movie ended. Let's see. What is this? God, I wish I could read half of these. These are so small. I got to zoom in on this bitch for just a second so I can read it a little more. I mean, I hate to do this because all these damn ads, but Jesus Christ, I can't even do that. Okay, let's zoom back out because it just makes these ads bigger. Okay, well, to hell with that. Can't get rid of these ads, apparently. Close. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Whatever. Let's see. Deathly Hallows 1 and 2. I think they're good. I think they're really good. That was a proper ending. My only knock on Deathly Hallows is that I really wanted them to end like I wanted the beginning of that movie to start the way the book started. Because now that's the only book, in all honesty, it's the only book that I've read with that of the Harry Potter franchise. I didn't read any of their books because the girl that I was dating at the time, she had read all the books, and we were dating when Deathly Hallows came out. And she would always just tell me what happened in the book so I would know what to expect when that movie comes out. But when that book came out, I told her, I was like, don't tell me what happens. I want to read it on my own. I want to experience this if this is the last bit of Harry Potter. And one of the things that happens in the book is that at the beginning of the book, there's this little moment between Harry and the Dursleys where they kind of put their animosity aside and they kind of level with each other, and they part as friends. If not as friends, they part as equals. They part with the understanding of one another. When you get to the beginning of the movie, all you see is the Dursleys leaving, and that's it. They're never seen again. And I was like, I felt like it would have been better to have started that movie with that moment, that first moment of closure. And there was something that I felt like I really could have, that we really could have enjoyed. It would have made the last movie that much better. But it just didn't happen that way. And it was very disappointing. There's a conversation between Harry and his cousin that is kind of like, he's kind of like, hey, you know, for all the years that I was kind of an asshole to you, my bad. And Harry was like, look, man, no harm done. We're family, we're cousins. If you need me, call me. I'll be there to help you out. Let's be on the level. Let's keep in touch. And it was kind of one of those things. And even his aunt and uncle kind of had this moment where they were just kind of like, look, sorry, our bad. We were kind of dicks to you. Good luck. You're obviously a great wizard. Have a good day. And they parted, like I said, not necessarily as friends, but they parted with an understanding. And it's unfortunate that they didn't show that in the movie. But let's see. This one is, God, I can't even read what the hell these titles are. This is so damn small. Let's see. This is, that one is the Half-Blood Prince. That's pretty good. And honestly, I'm probably just going to put all of them right here anyway. That's kind of where I'm putting them. There wasn't any of the movies that I hated. But yeah, I mean, they were all pretty good. There was just, for obvious reasons, there were these four that I think stood out above everything else. And other ones that just kind of didn't. You know what I mean? Let me check the chat real quick. There's nothing in Rumble. There is some stuff happening somewhere that I can see on. Oh, never mind. That's Casey's chat. Yeah. But yeah, so there's me ranking. And again, it's I saw the first Fantastic Beast, but I only saw it one time in the theaters. That was forever ago. I never saw The Crimes of Grindelwald. At that point, I was kind of not really into the spin-off movies. I wasn't really into the prequels. I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll watch them. I'll get into it, but for the most part, I'm just probably not going to. But moving on to another rank. Let's see. I can just rank Spain, rank food and drink, rank Fortnite, rank Harry Potter. I thought I could have sworn I'd pick like the movie categories. I don't know. Let's go actors and actresses, see what it says. Let's see. Famous hottest actress. God, none of these even look even halfway. None of these look anywhere near good. Let's see. Iconic De Niro roles. Well, I mean, that's got a possibility. Film Twitter actors? Are you fucking kidding me? Twitter actor? Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense. Let me go back to their main page, see if I can find anything. YouTubers tier list. There's only like 5 YouTubers that I watch in the regular, and I guarantee none of them even mention that list. Let's see. Some football stuff. TV and movie templates, MLB templates. Well, I mean, I could do something in here. Let's see, catchers. God, I mean, they're getting ready to do into the weeds on this one. Dodger trivia. Who gives a fuck about the Dodgers? Them and their $200 bajillion payroll. Win predictions. First baseman. Wow, they're stadiums would be a fun one, but I haven't been to all of them, so I don't really feel comfortable ranking them. I mean, let's not do that. I'll try to stick to some movie stuff. Tiermaker, live voting, ensign, sports, soccer. Who fucking cares about soccer? NFL, cartoons, TVs, and movies. Let's try to go to that and find something. We did the Star Wars film, Star Wars characters, Walking Dead. I'd leave that one for Jeremy. Let's see. MCU Marvel villains. Let's check this one out real quick. This could be fun. Let's start with Abomination. See, I can't. I just can't. Look, he was great in the Incredible Hulk film. He was god awful in She-Hulk. They dumbed that character down so fucking bad. I don't know. I don't understand it. It just wasn't smart. An absolute waste of character. I don't know why they did that. Alexander Pierce, I mean, just the human characters, I have a tough time ranking them too high. Was he a worthy villain? Sure, but I want someone who could not only be as smart, but also fight with the guys hand to hand with the Avengers. Like, I mean, we'll go to this one real quick. Thanos, I mean, he can. He high level intelligence, strength. He can outthink and outfight any of them one on one. So yeah, I would put him right up there. How am I looking over here? Okay. Yeah, try to actually what I might do is I'll go this route. Nope, not that route. I'll go that route. And nope. Okay, so whatever. Anyway, try to find a way that I could make myself fit into this a little better. Maybe I'll move myself over here to block out that stupid ad. There we go. That'll work. And take a drink of my soda pop. But Pierce good, but not great. Dormammu, it's really hard to rank him much higher than this. You only really see him for the last few minutes of Doctor Strange. It's hard. Same thing with Ghost. She's good. I like the character. I like what she can do, but I want to see more of her. We're going to be seeing more of her, obviously, in Thunderbolts here in the next couple of months. But I don't know that I can rank her much higher than that, considering that she's kind of not an anti-hero, but she's not exactly the bad guy in Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it's kind of hard to judge her. Ego, solid A. I mean, I ended up as the Guardians movies went on, I thought they got a little bit weaker with every movie. Still good, but I thought each movie was a little bit weaker than the one before. So that's kind of where I'm at with Ego. A lot of potential. Obviously, Kurt Russell's a fantastic actor, but I would like to have seen a couple of these guys go for more than one movie. Justin Hammer, kind of like Alexander Pierce, a great human foil, not exactly a great villain. He's kind of fodder for Iron Man in the second movie. He's a second tier bad guy in that movie. He's not even the main bad guy, so I can't rate him higher than this. Hela, I mean, I'll put her up here. Again, it's one of those villains that I wish we could have got more out of, because now we may end up seeing more of her. I've heard that we're going to, especially with the whatever the hell, the multiverse nonsense, they might end up bringing her back. I kind of hope not. I mean, I kind of like the way everything ended for her character in the one movie, but she was someone who was worthy. She was a worthy bad guy for the individual character of Thor. Ironmonger, I mean, I'll put him up here, second tier. I mean, look, the movies like this, I just said it, they're only as good as their villain. And he was a good, solid villain for the young MCU. For just Iron Man, he was a good, solid villain to get things started off with. Let's see, Caecilius. I thought he was pretty. I'll put him up there. I don't know if I can put him up there with Thanos. That's asking a lot. Caecilius, though, is a pretty good villain. Look, Mads Mikkelsen is a fantastic actor, and he makes it all that much better. But I mean, again, it's the individual villains. I think the ones that were really well worked because they were great villains for the individual bad guy. He worked great for Doctor Strange. Wouldn't have stood his own against more than 2 or 3 of the Avengers. Pick any 2 or 3 of the Avengers, he wouldn't have held his own. Loki, even though he's only really a bad guy for like one movie, I still think he's up there with Thanos. Part of me had thought going into the Avengers or into Endgame, maybe not even Endgame, into Infinity War, that maybe Loki was the main bad guy all along and Thanos wasn't. That we were led to believe that Thanos was going to be the main bad guy, but ultimately it was going to be Loki pulling some strings to try to arrange the board in a way that Thanos was going to end up getting knocked off, and it was going to leave Loki all the power, and he was going to be the one that had to fight all the Avengers. Because I figured that's kind of behavior is right up Loki's alley. He's the god of mischief. That made perfect sense. It didn't go that way, and I was okay with it, but whatever. Malekith, not great. I mean, he looked cool, and the portrayal was great. Not great. Same thing with Ronan. I was unimpressed with Ronan. I mean, a guy with that kind of history in the comic book should have gotten more than one movie to fuck around, and he really didn't do much of anything at all. Killmonger, I'll put up here in the B area. Again, mostly because I want more of him. I think he's another villain that could have carried a couple of films. Now, he could come back somehow. They might find some way to do it. His appearance in Black Panther 2, while not a full-on appearance, more of a glorified cameo, was actually very, very good for the story, but it wasn't him returning. If you've seen the movie, you know all about it. But yeah, he's a great villain. I really wish could have been in more than one film, because Michael B. Jordan was fantastic in that role. Red Skull, again, great for one movie. I mean, yeah, he's the keeper of the Soul Stone, but having just him be there as this floating apparition was not the same thing as seeing him fight with Captain America and the rest of the guys in World War II for the Tesseract. It wasn't the same. Sonny Birch, largely unmemorable. Just not a big deal. Didn't care. I just couldn't. Winter Soldier is an interesting one for me because he's a great character, but he's only really a bad guy for one movie. I don't understand how you would call him a Marvel villain when he's mostly a sympathetic character, because we know from the very beginning that he's not the bad guy. He's the one who's being manipulated. So he's not really a bad guy, but he's been around, so that's pretty cool. Ultron, God, look, Ultron is not only very, very good as a bad guy, not only is he as good as the Avengers and really ran them down to the very end before they could beat him, but James Spader's voice work in that is top-notch. That is some of the best voice acting ever. You could not have gotten a guy more properly cast for a voice role than James Spader. And the idea of him coming back in either Armor Wars or Secret Wars or whatever the hell they're doing over the course of the next couple of years, the idea of him coming back even for one more movie makes me very, very excited. I love the idea that he's going to come back. James Spader is fantastic. I loved him in The Blacklist, even though I hated the way that show ended. The way it ends for his character is just garbage in my opinion. But yeah, James Spader coming back would be great. Vulture, I mean, look, it's hard for me to put him above this. Again, one movie, not multiple movies, and the post-credit scene at the end of Morbius does not help his case at all. So I don't know exactly what's going to be going on with his character. Zemo, I'll put him up here in the A range. I'll put him as a second tier. I think Baron Zemo is a great character. I love the fact that he came back for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I love the fact that he is apparently going to have more to do in the MCU. They haven't exactly said what yet, but yeah, a great portrayal, a great character, one that I think could be a sneaky comeback character later on in the MCU to come back and do more. Yellow Jacket, I mean, garbage. He just wasn't good. It's not that the character doesn't have a ton of potential, and not Corey Smart, who the hell plays him, I forget. But the guy that plays him is actually really good. I've seen him in lots of stuff. He's a fantastic actor. But I mean, I wasn't a big fan of what they did to him in the most recent Ant-Man film, making him the scrunched head that's flying. That was just a joke. I couldn't. I looked at that and I was like, you're kidding me. Jan Rog, I mean, I'll put him right here. I'll put him in the third tier. I mean, again, I don't know if we're going to see him again. I don't know how much more Captain Marvel stuff we're going to get standalone, because while the first movie, I liked it more than a lot of people did. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was fun. It was a fun 90s buddy cop action styled kind of movie, and I thought it worked out great for the introduction of the character. I didn't think that there was much else about it that was lasting except for Jan Rog, but I mean, they kind of screwed the character with the Marvels. I mean, honestly, Captain Marvel wasn't even the best character in the Marvels. She wasn't even the second best character in the Marvels. Miss Marvel is a much better character. That show blew me away. I was surprised how much I liked that show. And to be absolutely honest, not Nova, what the hell's her name? The black girl. She was better. I was more interested in her character. Dude, Captain Marvel was the third best character in her own sequel. And that's just not good. But Whiplash, again, I'll put him up here. again, mostly because Mickey Rourke was such a great actor for the role. I mean, I've heard different things about people that could have been cast in that role, and I've kind of heard like, well, that could have been interesting. It would have been interesting to see this person. This person, hell no. But Mickey Rourke, fantastic. He actually kills it. He makes that movie, an entire movie, better. If they would have cast that movie differently, I don't know if I'd have looked at the second one the same way. I know a lot of people kind of shit on Iron Man 2. I don't. I actually thought Iron Man 2 was pretty good. A lot of people said, well, it's just the same kind of bad guy as the first movie. It's just a guy in a suit. Well, it's a guy in a suit, but his motivations are totally different. He does have the whips, so it's not just like he's shooting rockets and doing all this shit. He's a brute force kind of guy. He doesn't. I mean, yeah, he develops the other drone robots that cause all kinds of chaos at the end of the movie. But at the end of the day, he was a brute force of nature, and that's something that I don't think Tony Stark was quite ready to deal with yet. But anyway, there's my villain tier list for the Marvel villains. There's more to come. I mean, obviously, not on this list are people like Fisk. Wilson Fisk, not Deadpool, Bullseye from the Daredevil series isn't on here. Some of the stuff, Agatha's not on here. So I mean, I think the television ones probably aren't on here. I don't think any of these were from television. No, they weren't. I don't think. I think we're Sonny Birch. Was he from television? I forget. But yeah. So this doesn't include the television bad guys, which is fine by me because most of the television shows have been crap. There've been a couple of them that have been really good, but most of them have been straight poop. But yeah, so there's my villain tier list for the MCU villains. Agree, disagree, come at me, bro. Come at me. I don't care. I'm ready for all of your challenges. But let's see what other kind of tiers we can make here. Let's see. MCU heroes, nah. TV series and Netflix from all Netflix. That's a lot of them. I don't know if I'll go through all that. Let's see. Stranger Things characters. Nah, there's only like 5 characters that matter. Let's see. Movies and TV trivia. Huh. I'm gonna give this one a go. I'm gonna test myself. I'm gonna test myself live right here. And if I suck, you guys should know. Instead of 6 minutes, 20 seconds is how long it's supposed to take. Category TVs and movies. There's all the tags. Average score is 13 out of 19. Let me see if I can break that. Let's play solo. Who was the voice of Queen Elsa in Frozen? That was Idina Menzel, wasn't it? I think it was Idina Menzel. Yes, it was. See? Not bad for not having watched the movie. That is Katniss Everdeen, Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, I thought they were asking for the character. Highest grossing movie of all time is Avatar. If it's updated, yes, okay. It was Endgame for a while, but now it's Avatar. As of 2024, what TV show has the most seasons? Oh wow, it's one of these. Days of Our Lives. Nope, General Hospital. Damn it, that was the other one. What was the name of the high school that Danny Zuko and Sandy Olsen attended in Greece? They went to Rydell High School. I have actually just read something about the high school where they filmed all that stuff at. It is no longer a high school now. But let's see. What coffee shop did Ross, Rachel, and Monica? Yeah, that was Central Perk. I know because Jennifer and my stepdaughter have watched that show endlessly. Burger Beard, also known as Painty the Pirate, sings a theme song to what long-running TV series? Is it SpongeBob? Yay! Meredith and Olivia are 2 of the cats owned by what popular singer born in 1989? Fuck, I have no idea. Born in 1989? Taylor Swift? Okay, hey, not bad for a guess. Whatever. In Mean Girls, what Christmas songs the girls dance to? Oh God, I have no idea. I saw that movie maybe once and I was barely paying attention. I'm gonna say All I Want for Christmas Is You. It sounds like them. Nope, Jingle Bell Rock. Okay. I figured they'd have sang that terrible fucking Mariah Carey song. What is Shaggy's last name? Rogers? All right, let's go. Who are these famous chipmunks? Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. Come on, you're right in my age range, man. That is not something that just came up in the 2000s. That shit goes all the way back to the 70s. I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. Name that movie. Oh, come on. Seriously. Make them hard. How many cats has The Simpsons had? That I know of? 1? No, 5. Really? Boy, I have not paid attention to The Simpsons in a long time. Where did Superman come from? Krypton. Technically, well, I mean, Metropolis could be an answer, but whatever. Who wrote Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? What writer wrote the book or the movie? Because the book is called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but it was Roald Dahl that wrote the book. So, yeah. Which Disney character slept for 100 years? That was Sleeping Beauty. Mia Thermopolis. Who the hell even is that? What kind of Pop-Tarts does Buddy use for his elf spaghetti? I don't know. I'm going to say chocolate. Hey, let's go. Who is this 2000s icon? That's Jimmy Neutron, isn't it? Yeah. Or is that Dexter? I don't know. Oh, I had it right the first time. I knew it was one of them. No, well, I wasn't watching cartoons that area. Who is not one of the 7 dwarfs? Angry. Should be one of the 7 dwarfs. Let's see. That's 15 out of 19. Yes. Better than average by 2. I only missed 4. That's not bad. That's not bad. I'll share it on Twitter. Why the hell not? Share on Twitter. We'll post that. I did pretty good. It's not bad. Yeah, I know the ones I got wrong. So we'll done with that. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another trivia one real quick. Let's see. Martha Speaks. Don't know. Mel Brooks trivia. Oh, that'd be tough. Let's see. I don't know. What other ones do they have in here? Let me check the stream. Doing okay. Okay. Let's see. We have The Office, Wednesday. Honestly, I'm not digging a lot of these. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. A lot of stuff I haven't watched. The Flash on CW, which I never got around to finish watching. Let's see here. Bridgerton, which I don't watch. Is there a Downton Abbey one that I could challenge myself with? Even better. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out of here. I'm just going to go up here and I'm just going to search Downton Abbey. Search for Downton Abbey. See what kind of okay, thanks for Downton Abbey season 1 characters, Downton Abbey characters, Downton Abbey. Abby from The Last of Us. OG Downton list. I don't know what that means. Downton Abbey, Downton Abbey characters. Yeah, just some of these aren't great. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of Dance Moms. What the fuck, dude? Seriously, why the fuck would I want to do anything about that? Season 1 characters? I mean, the characters are all good. It's just, do I like the characters or hate them because they're douchebags? It's kind of hard to just decide. So let me see. Let's go TVs and movies again. Pixar movies. I haven't really watched Pixar movies in a long, long time, so I'm not exactly sure if that would be any good. Marvel movies. There's too many of them out right now. Let's see. Teen Wolf characters. No thanks. Next page. 250 best TV shows of all time. It's a lot to go through. A lot to go through. Black Mirror episodes. I've only seen 1 episode of Black Mirror, so it'd be way too hard to do that. Let's see. Beautiful Women's. Boy, some of these are terrible. They're so vague. Or they're way too spread out. It's like, what are the best characters in all of Star Wars? Well, there's 3 billion characters. You really want me to spend time going through all of them? Thanks, but no thanks. Actually, what I'll do now, I'll go into my little bit of a rant about the Dodgers. Let me go a little bit more full screen here. But Yeah, let's talk Dodgers for a minute. They're signing all these people. And look, I don't care if a person signs a contract for a lot of money. If I own a company and I go to Casey is Raw and I say, Casey, I want you to come do for my company what you do, and I'm going to pay you $25 million a year. There's nothing wrong with Casey saying, okay, I signed that. So we sit down, we go over it, this much per year, these fringe benefits, this kind of insurance, this kind of whatever, detail. And when we come down to an agreement that we're both satisfied with, we both sign it and that's it. It's done. That's what we agree with. So obviously the Dodgers feel like these players are worth that much money. Problem being, the economics for the Dodgers are not the same as they are for other teams. The Dodgers are not owned by a person. Like the San Francisco Giants are owned by a couple of people. And yes, I'm a Giants fan. You all know it. I'm not just Dodger hating on here. There's a real economic issue at play here. Now, the Giants are owned by a couple of people, and they have a managing partner who is the president of the company, so to speak. He's the one that makes the day-to-day decisions in consultation with the other people. The Dodgers are owned by some company. I don't remember the name of the company. Let me try to pull it up real quick. They're owned by a company that's worth $355 billion. Los Angeles Dodgers. Who are they owned by? Let me go look. Boy, I thought it was like right here. Look here instead. There we go. All right. The Dodgers are owned by. Oh. They're owned by Guggenheim Baseball Management. Okay, check this out. Ownership group, Los Angeles Dodgers professional baseball team. The consortium consists of Guggenheim partners. Controlling partner is Mark Walter, blah, blah, blah. Guggenheim partners, what do they own? They have they have assets under management of $300 billion. So they have $300 billion of money to work with. That's not entirely accurate. They have $300 billion of AUM, which is assets under management. So they have $300 billion worth of value, maybe not necessarily cash. But let's see right here. It says firm was founded in 1999, partnership with the Guggenheim family, headquartered in New York and Chicago. It has more than $310 billion of assets under management. The firm's CEO is Mark Walter. Let's see. I'm trying to find some actual money here. But I know that they have roughly, I think that I had heard that this company has something like $355 billion in operating capital or something like that, which means that they have $355 billion a year to play with. There is no other, and I mean no other, zero, no other sports team in the United States, maybe not in the world, but in the United States that has that kind of money to play with. And herein lies the problem. I keep seeing a lot of really stupid people out there saying, well, if these other teams are so mad, why don't they just offer to pay these players more money? Well, that's a very superficial and dumb way of seeing things. But let's explore that for a minute. Why doesn't the St. Louis Cardinals go out and offer somebody like Shohei Ohtani $700 million for 10 years? Why can't they just go and do that? Well, they can. Problem being, they only make so much money. It goes down to that age-old saying of, if you want to buy something that's $20, you only have $10 in the bank, you're not buying that $20 thing. If you want to go out and buy this baseball player that's going to cost you $70 million this year, and you only are going to make $50 million, there's a $20 million shortfall you got to make up for somehow. And how do you do that? Well, you cut or get rid of some other really good players that are making some money to afford him. That's great. But now you've got Shohei Ohtani, who can't win all the games by himself. So there's no pieces around him. So that's kind of, so what ends up happening is the Dodgers will buy all these players. They get Ohtani, they got Blake Snell, they got the pitcher from Japan, who's not all that expensive. They're actually signing for a minor league deal. It's only a few $1 million, so it's not like he's getting Shohei Ohtani money. But you end up signing him, and then you defer so much of the contract. Now, deferred contracts are nothing new. Bobby Bonilla Day. If you've been a baseball fan for more than 15 minutes, you know about Bobby Bonilla Day. There's a day in Major League Baseball. I think it's officially, technically, the end of the fiscal year for baseball. But there's the day where all these deferred contracts have to be paid. Bobby Bonilla very famously was getting $1 million a year every year on this date in deferred money for a contract that he signed with the Mets. And I think just in the last couple of years, he actually got his last $1 million payment from the Mets from that very famous deferred contract. So deferred contracts aren't even really the problem. The problem is when you're deferring so much money. Now, the Dodgers have a financial capability that no other team has. And when I say no other team, I mean no other team. Like even the Yankees don't have this kind of money. I mean, every team gets local TV rights and profit sharing and ticket sales and revenue sharing from baseball for merch and stuff like that. They all get that cut. But the problem is the Dodgers still have billions of dollars past that they can throw at talent that other teams just can't do. So if you take a team, let's say, I'll use the Cardinals again because I don't want everybody to think that I'm just hating on them because I'm a Giants fan. So the Cardinals say we're going to make this much money, but we can only spend this much because as a business you have to maintain a certain profitability. So you want your profitability sometimes to be a certain percentage, or you want your markup or whatever it is to be a certain percentage. There's all kinds of numbers that you can run as a businessman to make sure that you're making enough to keep your business viable. So the Dodgers have $350 billion in available money. Not that much, but I mean a lot more than any. But if you break down the cash they have, it's 3 to 4 more times the next team. And let's say that's, for argument's sake, if that's the St. Louis Cardinals. So they have that much more money that they can throw around, but the Cardinals just don't, because whoever owns the Cardinals owns, I don't even know who owns the Cardinals, but whoever owns the Cardinals, he also owns other businesses, but his total worth is only about, let's say, $1 billion. Whereas the total worth of the people that own the Dodgers is $355 billion. So they can move around assets in order to afford all the top 10 players in the market every year, whereas every other team is left to pick what's left. And that's where baseball is going to have to deal with this. Is you're going to get to the point where owners are going to look at the landscape. They're going to look at the situation. They're going to say, well, we can't afford to run with the Dodgers. We can't afford to be competitive at that level. They're going to win the World Series 9 out of 10 times. To hell with it. Let's just concentrate on not losing a lot and profitability. And that's what ends up becoming a very mediocre team. Something like what Miami has been for a long time. Something like what Tampa Bay has been for a long time. Something about like what most of the teams in baseball have been for a long time. They look at it and they're like, look, we're out here to win a lot of games and win a title, but we're obviously not going to win a title because we can't afford to get Shohei Ohtani every year. We can't afford to go after any of the top 5 free agents every year. They're always going to go to the Dodgers because the Dodgers are always going to give them a ton of money. They're going to win every fucking game. They're going to win 120 games a year. They're going to win the World Series every year. And that's why guys are going to go there. So let's just worry about playing for second. Bam. Mediocrity. That's what you have. You have an entire league of people that knows they're playing for second place. They know that a team like the Dodgers is going to win it every year. And that's just, so they're just going to say, well, if we're not going to win, let's just be profitable, because that's the next best thing. If you can't afford to pay Shohei Ohtani or Blake Snell or whatever asshole they're going to sign to the monster deal in the offseason, if you know you're not going to be able to compete for those players, they're going to help you win more games, contend for a championship, then damn it, they're just going to say, let's just worry about being profitable. Let's just make sure we're making money, because that's what's next. That's the only thing you have to worry about. The other thing is long-term viability of this. And this is something that I don't think anybody's really examined yet in baseball. Is you sign all these deferred contracts. And again, it's not against any rules. It's not illegal. It's allowed in the collective bargaining agreement. It's been allowed by baseball. It's fine. It is what it is. But you're going to end up down the line paying $100 million a year, if not more, to a bunch of players that have been retired for 10 years. And so what ends up happening is if baseball does do something about this and they're not allowed to sign these players for gigantic deals that are mostly deferred, because Shohei is making $70 million a year, but he's only making, I think, $10 million a year right now, and the other whatever fucking $630 million of his contract is deferred. So that's $630 million that they have to pay Ohtani, theoretically, if he doesn't sign another contract with the Dodgers after he leaves the team. After he leaves the team. Look, Bobby Bonilla was one thing. That's an order of magnitude more than Bobby Bonilla. That's a really hard sell. So if you've got him, Blake Snell, whoever else down the line that they're deferring these payments to, you're looking at 125 million a year to players that aren't even playing on your team anymore. And if baseball does do something about this and changes the way that teams can sign these players, what's going to end up happening is it's going to bring the Dodgers back to earth. If they have 4 or 5 bad years where they're struggling to play 500 ball, they're not winning a lot, and they're not drawing ticket wise the way now. In all fairness, Los Angeles, they do very well in ticket sales. Even when the Dodgers aren't playing well, fans still show up to Dodgers games, which is good for the fans. I'm glad that the fans support their team like that. But if they have one of those years where merch sales are down, maybe they have to renegotiate a TV deal because they only played 500 ball for the last couple of years. All of a sudden, all that money, there's less money coming in. You're still paying 125 million a year. These players aren't even there anymore. They aren't even wearing a Dodger uniform. May even be playing somewhere else. Maybe retired. Maybe dead for as long as they're pushing these deferments out for. If that's going to happen, it's going to be a tough economic spot for the Dodgers that could take them decades to get out of if they end up getting really badly screwed. And again, I don't know that this is going to happen. I'm not saying it's a certainty. What I'm saying is that I would like for somebody in the baseball offices in New York to make some economic examinations of this and see what the long-term economic ramifications are on this, not just for the Dodgers, but for baseball as a whole. Because you're getting into pretty dangerous ground here, I think, whenever you start fucking with numbers, you are setting yourself up for potential failure, for potential catastrophe. And I don't want that, and as much as I hate the Dodgers being a Giants fan, I don't want that to happen to the Dodgers. I don't want that to happen to any team. There was somebody on Facebook earlier that said something like, oh, it's just all these teams that are bitching because they can't blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, these people don't get the economics of the game. They're not thinking past this year. Those are Dodger fans that are thinking we're going to win a World Series this year. These aren't smart people who are putting their brain to this question and saying, how is this going to play out? How is this going to affect the bigger picture of baseball? Because it doesn't help. And look, is it going to mean baseball coming in with a hard salary cap? Honestly, again, I am not a person that has gotten mad about somebody signing a big contract. I don't bitch about somebody else making money. Look, if somebody came up to me and said, hey, Frank, I want you to come do what you do for me, but I want you to do it for $10 million a year. Sign the contract, kid. I'm gone. I'm out the door. There's nobody in the world that wouldn't do what they do for a gob of money. There's nobody in the world that wouldn't do it. And I don't blame them. I mean, you can call people sellouts all you want, but damn it, you put a lot of work into being a pro baseball player to play in the game at that level. You deserve the money. I mean, I know some of the sacrifices I made when I was a kid to try to be a good baseball player so that I might get a shot one day. Dude, that was no joke. I can't tell you how many parties I missed out on, how many times I went to bed early on a Friday night instead of going to hang out with my friends so I could get up at 6 a.m. to go to a baseball camp somewhere to put in some extra practice, or because I had to go to a tournament or some shit like that. I can't tell you how many times I did that. And it takes a lot of work to get to that level. So with these guys making money, fine by me. Sign the big contracts. You're not going to hear me complain. But the teams themselves and the businesses need to understand that the money can change things. The money has always been different. Dude, think some of you guys who are my age might remember the shit that Alex Rodriguez got when he signed his deal with the Rangers years ago, back in the late 90s, something like that. $250 million for 10 years, $25 million a year. Now we look at a contract like that and we're like, meh, it's mid-level. he's average. Now you've got Shohei making $70 million a year. And I'm telling you guys, before it gets better, it's going to get worse. Somebody's going to be making $100 million a year. It's going to happen. And we're going to look back in the days of Alex Rodriguez making $25 million a year, and we're going to laugh. We're going to laugh at ourselves for being so pissed off at that guy for signing that contract. After somebody probably in my lifetime is going to sign $100 million a year contract. It will probably be by the Dodgers. It'll probably be deferred, but somebody will sign a contract saying that for 1 year of service, it's going to cost you $100 million. It's going to happen unless baseball gets into it right now. And I know a lot of people are saying, Frank, you're a Giants fan. You just hate the Dodgers. You know what? Look, World Series over. The Dodgers outplayed the Yankees. They won fair and square. There was no cheating, except for that bullshit that the Yankees fans did with Mookie Betts, which Dodgers fans, I'm on your side about that. That was nonsense, and I'm glad that they've kicked those guys out for at least all of next season. But baseball's got to step in and start saying, hey, the economics of this are not working out very well. We either need you to rein this in a little bit and to make this not such a pain in the ass for us, or we're going to come down on you and give you a hard salary cap or limit the amount of deferred contracts, the amount of deferred money, because I don't like what this is going to end up doing to the game. Look, I said at the beginning of the last World Series that nobody outside of LA and New York was going to give a shit about this series. Somebody responded to me on Facebook saying, well, this was one of the highest rated World Series of the last 10 years. I'm like, yeah, because LA and New York was watching. That's 50% of America. That's 50% of the population. Nobody outside of California or New York gave a flying fuck about this World Series. I didn't. I'm a baseball fan. I'm a baseball super fan. I love everything about the game. I did not watch a single fucking inning of this World Series. I watched highlights. The next day, when I was getting ready for work the next morning, I'd flip on YouTube and watch highlights of the game. I'm like, okay, now I know what happened. But as far as giving a shit, no. And in all fairness, that's kind of how it happens for a lot of World Series. Because I remember when I was a kid, the '89 World Series, before it was interrupted by the Loma Prieta earthquake, the '89 series, one of the things that was in the news was, is anybody outside of California going to care about the series? It's two California teams, so nobody in the East Coast is going to care. It's two Bay Area teams, so nobody in LA is going to care. So it's like, this is going to get terrible ratings. Now that story, of course, ended up getting washed away by what would happen with the earthquake. That entire series was kind of a wash. Really hard to say whether it got good ratings or not. I think a lot of people did watch the last couple of games because that was after the earthquake hit, and people were trying to be supportive of the Bay Area. They were watching for the national anthem and the prayers that were being said for everything that was going on. And trust me, it was chaotic. I was there. But so it's kind of hard to see how that affected things. But I mean, if you look at several years ago, the Yankees and the Mets were in the World Series. Big viewership in New York, big viewership in pockets all over the U.S., but not very big viewership in Chicago, not very big viewership in Texas, not great viewership in California. So to say that this one was highly watched, it was like, yeah, it was highly watched because New York and LA are the two biggest sports markets, at least in the U.S., two of the biggest in the world, probably. So yeah, that's why it got good ratings, because you had two major population centers watching. Were they watching it in Dallas? Not really. Were they watching it in Chicago or Miami or Seattle? No. I mean, I know people all around the country, and people outside of LA and New York that I know, not a whole lot of them were watching the World Series. So baseball's got to do something. I don't know. Comment below. Let me know if you think I'm full of shit. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Let me know if you think that I'm just being an alarmist about all this shit. But the economics does have to change at some point. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here because it is getting a little late here, and I am not used to staying up as late as I once did when we were doing Derailed back in the day, staying up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, cutting around with those guys, getting drunk and raising all kinds of chaos. And my voice is starting to go a little bit. I'm not used to doing all the talking by myself. I'm used to having Jeremy and Tex and Cora or Aaron here to do whatever. But Alex the Garbage Man, thank you. Thanks for coming around. We'll have another hangout. We'll have another news night. I'm trying to find ways to work those into the schedule so you guys can come in and we can talk about all this stuff. And by all means, let me know if you think I'm crazy about what I just said about all the baseball stuff. I know you're a fan as well. I know that Nick, you play softball. You know what it's like to swing a bat. You know what it's like to really hit one on the screws. How good it feels. how great it feels to hit one on the screws, the sound of the bat and all that. So you know what I'm saying. So go down in the comments below, let me know if I'm full of shit, if I'm just a Giants fan who's hating the Dodgers, if I'm one of those bitter guys whose baseball career didn't pan out. I kind of am. But, let me know what you guys think. But thanks, you guys, for coming and hanging out. I will do more Fireside chats in the future, I promise. Probably on the weekends. I try not to do too much stuff on the weekends. Monday through Friday, Monday through Thursday, I'm doing something YouTube related every night. If I'm not streaming, I'm getting a stream together. And so on the weekends, I try to not, but it was kind of a slow Saturday for me. And I wanted to try to get on here and do a little Fireside thing since I didn't get a chance to do any reviews with the guys this week. But thanks for coming and hanging out. I very much appreciate you guys. We will see you guys on Tuesday for whatever we're reviewing. I don't even know what it is. We will get around to Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard eventually. Jeremy didn't want to do it. Tex ended up having to work late. That's just how shit goes sometimes. But we'll get around to it. I will see you guys later. Till then, adios.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.